Like that. And then COVID happened, right? Which, everyone expected. Everyone had that on their bingo card for 2020. And interest rates dropped down to the twos. Barry, weren't even 15-year rates in the ones at one point?
Yeah. And, in all those cases, if you get close to the twos, the ones you can pay points and get it down lower. So it was definitely there.
It was wild. So twos, 2.5, threes, all these different things. And then, rates steadily started going back up. And then it was like at 4, and 4 seemed like, wow, rates are already at 4. Still, I thought they were at 2, right? Then rates got to 5. It was like, whoa, we're at 5%. Now, for some of you, didn't it seem like rates just went up to 5% overnight? They went from like 2 to 5 overnight, right? Well, now we're at 6% for the first time since 2008. So for those of you that are not good at math, that's 14 years. Okay. So for the first time, 14 years, rates at 6%. Now, I want you to be honest with me. When I tell you rates are at 6%, how many of you does that cause a concern for? Be honest. So I have one person telling the truth, probably 2 people telling the truth, and probably 20 liars.
Very, very worried about
it. How do I know? Because when rates were at 4%, people were like, oh my God, rates are at 4%. No one's going to buy now. Everyone thinks the market's going to crash. That was at 4. Then at 5%, I was hearing all this stuff from a lot of agents about, well, yeah, I can't get any buyers to put in offers. It's at 5%. They're priced out of the property. Look at the homes are staying on the market longer because of interest rates. Now it's at 6%. Okay. So I want you to write this down. This is vitally important in terms of what's going on with the interest rates at 6%. This is not a negative. Okay? This is not a negative. What this is, and I want you to write this in all caps, underline it, highlight it, however you want to do it, a window of opportunity. This is not a negative. This is a window of opportunity. Now, as Neil mentioned earlier today, the term is window of opportunity. It's not a down market, a buyer's market, a seller's market. It's not, a great time to get a deal. It's not this. It's a window of opportunity. Now, I say that, Neil says that, and then the question is like, okay, great, yeah, window of opportunity. Well, what does that mean? Why? Why is a 6% interest rate a window of opportunity? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Because this is the stuff you need to talk about with your clients. Now, who here, and again, do it, be honest with me, at 6% interest rates thinks that, well, that's gonna scare away all the buyers? Anyone have a thought on that? 6% interest rate is going to scare away the buyers, right? So here's the thing. 6% interest rate will scare away some buyers, yes or no? Be honest. It's going to scare away some buyers.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you want to know who that's good for?
Us.
Yes, and?
Sellers.
Buyers.
Buyers
that are not scared.
It's good for the buyers, right? It's good for the buyers because, yeah, this is going to scare away some buyers, which means it's good for buyers. Robert, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, well, let's talk. In the last 2 years, in the last 2 to 3 years, trying to buy a house was just chaotic. Yes or no? I mean, for those of us that bought homes, that tried to buy homes, had buyers, it was, I got a qualified, motivated buyer, and they can't get a house. Showing them properties, they're writing offers $25,000, $30,000 above list price. We're waiving appraisal contingencies, can't get a house. It's crazy, right? Because we're dealing with 15 offers, 20 offers, 30 offers. I got a buyer, and the property comes on the market tomorrow. They can't see it until Sunday. No, we're not showing on Sunday. We got enough offers on Saturday. It was chaotic. Now, did that put a lot of buyers out of the market? Yes or no? Yeah, put a lot of buyers out of the market. So this is the opportunity for those buyers. This is the opportunity for those buyers, because at 6% interest rate, it's going to scare away a lot of the buyers who are not really have to buys. Okay. Which means if I'm a buyer now, I'm not dealing with 20 offers. I'm not dealing with, I have to write an offer and I have to waive all my contingencies. I'm not dealing with the fact that I'll offer to pay all the escrow cost. I'll offer to pay all the title costs. I'm not dealing with that. You know what I can do as a buyer? What can I do as a buyer now? It starts with N.
Negotiate.
I can negotiate a little bit. Now, there's a big difference between negotiating and looking for a deal. Okay. I'm not looking for the buyer that is trying to offer 20% below list price. I'm looking for the buyer that wants to buy a house, but was FHA or VA. And in 2020, 2021, if you had an FHA or VA loan, it was just like, oh, don't even bother. That buyer can get a house today. A buyer who's doing 3% conventional can get a house. What about a seller that wanted to buy a house, but it was contingent upon selling? How was that client doing in 2020 and 2021? I mean, miserable, right? You couldn't buy a house contingent. Well, can you get an offer accepted contingent today?
Yes.
Yeah. So some of you are going, oh, this is all just for buyers. No. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, remember we wanted to sell your house, but we couldn't find you a replacement property. So you just said, the heck with it, we'll stay. Well, I've got news for you. We have a what? What do we have?
Window of opportunity.
Oh, yeah, got it. We have a window of opportunity. We could sell your house today and get you that replacement property. But Robert, isn't it going to be harder to sell their house? Not if you're a good agent. Are you a good agent? Yes or no? Okay, I got two of you. I'm concerned now.
Yes, Robert. Yes, we are.
I see Juan Carlos Nuno going, yeah, and I see everyone else just, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Am I not? Robert, I don't know. Help me. A good agent can get their home sold, but the listing is not the concern. They wanted the other house, right? Their motivation is, I'm moving here for a reason. So yeah, we'll get this listed, but the good news is we get you where you want to be. We get you in the house you want to be. You wanted to get out of a condo and into a single family residence, and you couldn't do that last year. Guess what? We could do that today. Let's get out of the condo. Let's get you into a single family residence. You wanted to get in from a 2-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom house. We could do that today. Well, rates are at 6%. Do you want the house? Do you want the house? Yes. Then who cares? Okay. This is for motivated buyers and sellers. This opportunity, if you're a motivated buyer or seller, this is a tremendous window of opportunity. Because if I really want to buy a house, am I concerned about a 6% interest rate?
Not really.
No.
No.
And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm not concerned about a 6% interest rate. Barry, let me ask you a question, Barry. If we took out 2020 and 2021, is a 6% interest rate really high?
No, it's for years, Robert. I'm a little older than you, but for years, if I could get anybody near 6%, under 6%, I was super happy.
Yeah. See, we have to, a little bit of this is our own mindset. Oh my God, 6%. I want you to write this down. 2020 and 2021 were not normal. Those were anomalies. So we as agents and the consumers or buyers are comparing a 6% interest rate to the 2% in 2020. That you can't compare that. That's not normal. Why don't you compare interest rates in 2020 compared to interest rates in 2019? Well, it's from 5 to 6. Oh, well, that's not a big deal. Everyone's thinking 2 to 6.
Hey, Robert,
Yes,
but
Mike.
also we had to understand that in the last 2 years, the prices went way up too.
Yeah, I get it. But for a motivated buyer, they're going to buy a house. This is a window of opportunity for them. For the non-motivated buyer, they're going to look at it. Prices are still too high. Interest rates are too high. Market's going to crash, all that stuff. Here's what I want you to write down. If they say the market's going to crash, let them go. Let them go. Because no matter how good you handle that objection, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do it. Okay. Well, I want to wait for interest rates to come down. Let them go. Okay, fine. So here, if you really want to have some fun, with a buyer like that. Okay, so you want to wait for interest rates to come down. Yes. Okay, I'm curious. Why didn't you buy a house in the last 2 years? I want to wait for interest rates to come down. Okay. What happened the last 2 years when rates were at 2 and 3%? Why didn't you buy then?
They wanted prices to go down too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, prices were too high. Oh, okay. Right. What do I always, for those of you that have been around me for a while, what do I always say about waiters? What will waiters do?
Loser?
No.
Waiters will always wait.
There it is.
Wait forever.
Waiters will wait forever. Right? Waiters will wait forever. Well, I want to wait for interest rates to go down. Well, why didn't you buy in the last 2 years? Because I was waiting for prices to go down. Okay, well, why didn't you buy before that? Well, I was waiting for the election to see what happened. Okay, well, why didn't you buy before that? Well, I was waiting to see if I was going to leave California. Well, why didn't you buy? They're always going to find a reason. I want to wait for the market to crash. I want to wait for rates to go down. I want to wait for prices to go down. I want to wait for this. I want to wait for that. Let them go. This is not for these people. So here's an idea I wrote down. I want you to go to all of your leads that got pre-approved over the last 3 years. Okay, find every lead that got pre-approved over the last 3 years. I don't want you to find every buyer lead in the last 3 years. I just want you to find the ones that are pre-approved. Why do I only want you to find the ones that are pre-approved?
Because they're ready. They want you.
Yeah, because they actually made an effort. Well, I'm going to call all my buyer leads. This one didn't get pre-approved. This one ghosted me. This one. No, because you know what? They're going to do the same thing. I want the ones that got pre-approved that made some sort of effort to go get pre-approved to buy a house, but it didn't happen. I want you to gather all these people and I want you to call them to see if they bought a house. And if they bought a house, let them go, obviously. Okay. And if they didn't buy a house, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got you on the phone. Because I have what for you?
A window of opportunity.
I have a window of opportunity for you. You know how you got pre-approved and you got out of the market because you were tired of competing against 30 offers, $100,000 above list price and waiving all contingencies? Yeah, that was pretty miserable. Well, what if I told you this, right? It's like an infomercial. Well, what if I told you that I could get you a house without waiving all contingencies at fair market value, not competing against 30 offers? Would that excite you? Hell yeah, it would excite me. Great. When can we go see property, today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Okay, but before we do that, I need you to talk to your lender. Because the one thing about rates is that they might not qualify for the same amount. but they're ready to go. They're ready to make it happen. Okay. So call all those leads. Call all of those leads. That's number one. Number two, call all seller leads that needed to buy a replacement property in the last 3 years. Same thing. Hey, you were looking to sell your house because you wanted to move up, move down, move here, do this, whatever. Yeah. And you didn't do it because we couldn't get a property offer accepted because it was contingent, right? Yeah. So we just decided to stay here. Okay, great. And the reason you were moving is because you were in a 2-bedroom house and you had twin boys who were about to be teenagers and you needed a 4-bedroom house, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, how is that going? It's miserable. They're destructing the house and I'm going to shoot both of them in about 2 weeks if this doesn't get any better. Oh, I'm so glad I called today. Because I have a window of opportunity for you to get this house sold. What if I could tell you that I could get you that 4-bedroom house and I could get your boys their own room so you don't have to shoot them? Wouldn't that be nice? That would be nice. Great. Let's get together for 15 minutes and talk about it. That seller now has a chance to sell their house and buy a replacement property. Okay. So we need to get in touch with all those leads. All right. Vitally important. FHA, VA, any FHA buyers, VA buyers that just quit, didn't want to buy, or let's be honest, those FHA and VA buyers that you left, that you didn't follow up on because you're like, I'm not showing an FHA buyer in 2021. Call them. Opportunity. Now, but I want to take a second here. This is important because I mentioned earlier, there's a difference between negotiating and looking for a deal. In today's market, can you negotiate a little bit if you're a buyer? Yes. But let's be honest. Can you really get like 10, 15% below list price?
No.
I don't know about 10, but you can definitely make lower offers.
Yeah. You could definitely make lower offers, but not 10, not 15. So the buyer that says, oh, great. Well, yeah, this is great. I'm looking for a deal. Well, hold on. Just because you can negotiate doesn't mean it's a deal market. Doesn't mean it's a buyer's market per se. Okay, so you have to understand the difference. I don't want you now taking out buyers, writing offers 10, 15% below list price. To Armin's point, yeah, you can offer below list price. Sure. 10, 15%? I don't know about that, right? But you know that's what they're going to be looking for because they're thinking that's what they're thinking. That's what they're thinking. Now, here's the other thing on the 6% interest rates. We're going to talk about buyers one more thing, and then we're going to shift over to sellers. From the buyer's perspective, yes, this is an opportunity because you can negotiate. You might be able to get your offer accepted, things like this. But this is also urgent. It's also urgent. It's urgent because the reality is, even though you can negotiate a little bit, you're now at a 6% qualification. So your buying power might not be the same. Your monthly payment might not be the same. So yes, we can get you negotiated, but we also need to do something now because you're at 6%. This is your payment. If it goes up to 6.5, your payment's going to be this, which you're not comfortable with. Okay. So it's an opportunity, but we got to do it now. We got to do it now. And then here's the beautiful thing. If they're concerned about interest rates, okay, let's get you the house. Now, do interest rates sometimes fluctuate? Do they go up? Do they go down? Okay, great.
Yes.
So let's just say, let's get you the house while you have some negotiating power. Okay. And then if interest rates go down, what can you do?
Refinance.
You can refinance and do a lower interest rate. You can always do that, but you get the house. Let's get you the house. And then if rates go down, then you can refinance. Because here's an important objection handler. Well, yeah, but I want to, why don't I wait until rates go down? You could, at some point, rates might go down a little bit, but what happens when rates go down?
Prices go up.
Prices go up because why? What enters more the marketplace?
More buyers.
More buyers. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. I'm going to try to say this in the nicest way possible. You know how you were frustrated over the last 2 years trying to buy a house? Yes. That's because interest rates were low. Yes. If you wait for interest rates to go lower to buy, isn't it fair to assume you will be in the exact same situation as you were a year ago, where you're now competing against 15, 20 offers above list price, waiving contingencies? Oh, yeah. Forget waiting for rates to go down. Get the house while you can. And then if rates go down, then you can refinance. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But plus builds equity. Most people don't talk about that.
That's the thing. And that's what I was going to mention next, Lisa. Thank you. Is that over time, in at least Southern California, some of you are in different areas. In Southern California, over time, do prices go up or down?
Up.
Over time.
Up.
Up. So you get the house today. Well, what if the price goes down? What if I buy it today and then the price goes down 5%? Are you selling it tomorrow? No. Who cares? In 10 years, it'll be worth more. If you hang on to it for 15 years, it'll be worth a lot more. But you get the house. You couldn't get the house 2 years ago. This is the point we have to make. This is what we have to sell. You have a chance to get a home. If you're a first-time buyer, if you're trying to get into a better house, you have a chance to get that. Robert, I want to live by the beach. Now's your chance. I want to get an investment property. Now's your chance. I want to get out of a condo into a single family residence. Now's your chance. Don't wait for rates to go down. Don't wait for prices, because as soon as they do, everyone's going to flood the market again, and then you're screwed again. I have a window of opportunity to take advantage here. Okay. This is what we're talking about. Now let's shift over to sellers. Shift over to sellers. Well, gosh, Robert, it sounds like this is really great for buyers. What about sellers?
Robert, I have a question.
Yes, Sandy.
For example, you went offer to the buyer, and then you said they're looking for like 10% up. So if the good salad, how much percent you think we can go?
I don't know. Do a comp. Do a comp of the property. It's tough for me to answer that question because the property might be overpriced to begin with. So if the property's 5% overpriced, you could try to go, 5-6% below, because then you're just below market value, right? So you have to do a CMA to see what's going on, because the reality is in some of our marketplaces are not getting hit as hard as other places. So do a little CMA on that property to see, hey, I think realistically you could probably go a little bit below. You could go 5% below, maybe you can go 6% below, but maybe in some of our marketplaces, it's like, maybe you can go 3, maybe you can go 2. So it depends on the marketplace. So you have to look at the stats in the marketplace, but I don't think there's any market where they can go 10. So if you run into someone who says, well, yeah, let's offer 10% below. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
Why not? Well, it's a waste. It's a waste of our time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, I want to get a deal. Okay. All right. When I get a deal, that's good. I recommend Kansas.
Deal to you, Mr. Buyer.
I'm sure in Kansas, maybe you can get 10% below. I don't know.
It also depends if there's another offer on the table.
Yeah, of course. Hi.
Miguel's over there abusing his daughter.
Miguel just embarrassed his daughter.
She's running out of the room. Daddy.
She get her license yet?
She actually did scripts the other night, and I'm not joking. She came up with some pretty good objection handlers.
All right, very good.
Not joking.
Mastermind next Thursday, Miguel's daughter. So you got to be careful. This is again the negotiating versus the deal, right? I'm looking for a deal. Obviously, the first question we're going to ask is what's a deal to you? Okay, that's the most important thing. What's a deal to you? And if the deal is not realistic, then be honest with them. Well, I thought you said that I had negotiating power. Yes, you did. And let me apologize because maybe I didn't explain that very well. That's probably on me, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. You have some negotiating, but it's not deal negotiating. It's negotiating to get the house, not deal negotiating to flip the house. Okay. This is two different types of negotiating. That's on me. My bad. I should have explained that better. Do you see how I'm not calling them stupid or things like that? I'm taking ownership. This is sales.
Hey, Robert, usually the buyers right now, they come into you as an agent and ask you the question, how much do you think I can get the house for? And we as an agent, we need to give them an advice and we got to tell them.
Yeah,
And,
do a
of
CMA.
course, I will say full price, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. How much do you think I can get the house for? Well, we won't know. We won't know until you start writing offers. Okay. We won't know until you start writing offers. Well, it's for 900,000. Okay. Well, let's start writing offers. Let's begin the process of negotiating. Okay. Because I don't know what this, I'm not representing the seller. I don't know what they're willing to go down to. How much are you willing to pay for this house? I'm willing to pay $875. Then I suggest you write an offer for $875 and let's see if the seller takes it. That's what I would suggest. Now, again, if I wanted to do a CMA, I could do a CMA of the mark of it and say, hey, look, here's based on the comps. This is what homes are selling for in the area, so and so forth. So I would, maybe you start out at this. But again, I would say a comp is, this is just based on comps. Doesn't mean this is what the seller's going to take. Doesn't mean this is what the appraiser is going to appraise it for. So ultimately, how much do you feel comfortable offering for this house? Well, I would pay 900,000 for it. Do you like the house? Yes. Then I would say, let's offer 900,000. You don't think we should negotiate? Do you want the goddamn house or not?
Oh my God, you don't know how many times I wanted to say that.
Right? I want the house. Then pay it. They're asking for 900. Give them 900.
No, the other part. God damn it.
You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to have these conversations, because again, because Michael's right. They're looking for us sometimes for guidance. Well, how much could I get it for? How much for this? I don't know. I'm not representing the seller. I don't know what the seller's willing to do. How much are you willing to pay? How much are you willing to pay for this house? I'm willing to pay this. Then offer that. Okay. Or if you want to, we can maybe go a little bit below what you're willing to pay and see what the seller says. All right. But we have to, none of it matters, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, if we don't open up the negotiation process. If we don't get an offer written, if we don't get something in front of the seller, if we don't get a counter, if I'm not talking to the agent, they're not talking, if none of this is in motion, then it doesn't matter. Okay. What are you willing to pay? I think that's a good amount. Let's write up an offer. Okay. That's what it's about here. We got to get them to write up the offers. Okay. Because again, the longer you wait, you just don't know. Someone else is going to swoop in. Okay. And then we're going to go to the next house and the next house. Got to get in the game. Okay. Now going over to sellers. Good point, Michael. Thank you for bringing that up. Going over to the sellers. Well, Robert, we're talking a lot about buyers here. There seems to be a great window of opportunity for buyers. What about sellers? Well, anytime there's an opportunity for one side of the transaction, there's an opportunity for the other side of the transaction. Might not be the same opportunity, but it's still an opportunity. From a seller's standpoint, the opportunity is this. The buyers that are looking to buy right now at a 6% interest rate, would you say that they're fairly motivated? Yeah. So guess what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Any buyer that writes up an offer today is qualified and motivated. That's the type of buyers you're looking for. The reality is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we don't need 50 offers. Okay. And the truth is, I don't want 50 offers because I have to show you all 50. Would you like me to sit here and present you 50 offers from a variety of different price points, from a variety of different buyers and a variety of different agents? No, I don't want you to do that. Great. We just need buyers to pay your price. Okay. Realistically, we need 2 buyers. That's what we need. Okay. So pricing is important, but we're going to be dealing with qualified, motivated people that want to buy a house right now. That's one opportunity. No looky-loos. You don't have the looky-loos right now. Now, here's the other opportunity you have right now. Okay. Is that if you sell it now compared to 6 months from now, if the rate goes up to 6.5, 7, am I going to get a better price now or when rates are at 7%? Now. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, not only are we getting you buyers that are qualified and motivated and none of these looky-loo people just throwing stuff at the wind, you have an opportunity right now to cash out on a property before the rates go up any higher, before anything else changes in the market. And instead of getting 850, you end up getting 800. How important is $50,000 to you? Make sense? Okay, good. Good. Questions on anything we've talked about so far? Now, does anyone believe anything I've said, or do you just think I'm full of crap?
It's a great
No.
opportunity.
We believe it.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
I put my hand up for the first question, but I didn't get it down fast enough for your second question.
You know,
It's very, very hard.
I asked that because, you know, sometimes, look, some people are going to say, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. This is a window of opportunity. And some of you are going to go, yeah, I don't believe it. This is 6% and this is doom and gloom and this is miserable. Okay, let me position this one last way. Okay, for those of you, because I know some of you still aren't 100% sold, and that's fine. If you pitch it as doom and gloom, right? If your thought is this is doom and gloom, this is bad, this is no good. Do you think you will generate more business pitching doom and gloom or pitching window of opportunity?
Window of opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Armand. So I've got one. So for those of you that still don't think this is a window of opportunity, look at it from a different perspective and say, even if I don't believe it, I'm going to exercise blind faith that if I pitch doom and gloom to clients, they will shut down. If I pitch window of opportunity, they will move forward. Okay. We have to look at this from a totally different perspective. Now, here's the beauty. Here's the last little nugget here, and then we'll open it up for other questions. What do you think most agents think of? How do you think most agents feel about this situation?
Negative.
Doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom, negative, done, quitting. And this news came out in September when we're getting towards the fourth quarter when a lot of agents are going to quit anyways. So you can either go with the masses of doom and gloom, this is negative, sky is falling, we're all screwed, or you can do the 180 and say, no, Mr. and Mrs. Client, don't listen to that agent. This is a window of opportunity. People are looking for hope. Remember what I talked about Wednesday, right? Hope. Buyers are looking for hope. People are looking for hope in terms of buying and selling their house. And most real estate agents and most people in the media and most articles you read online give no hope. None. And so the buyers and sellers just put their head down and they stay in their house and go, okay, I guess I'll stay in this 1-bedroom condo with my 3 kids a little bit longer.
Hey, Robert,
Yes, Michael.
I think, like I said, between buyer and seller, For the buyer, they are seeing more negative going up on the rates because they know they're going to have to pay more. What
Yeah.
I finding out about the sellers, we tell them, like you just said right now, hey, Mr. Seller, if we wait and the rates goes up to 6.5 or 7, and instead of 850, you get 800. The sellers still have a hard time to believe that because they got so used to prices go up, that until we still seeing that negative effect on the prices, they still have hard time to understand that.
No, you're right. You're right. So what you need to do with sellers like that, if they're motivated, if you were to box them in and say, okay, great. Other than you don't think prices are softening, is there anything else holding you from selling your house? Okay. Because we want to make sure that if I do the work to show you in your area that prices are softening, that I actually have a listing. I don't want to do this work and then you tell me that, well, I'm not moving for 2 years anyways. Right. So let's say they go, yeah, look, I'm willing to sell. I just, gosh, I don't think that the prices are going down. I don't see it. Do some research, and maybe they're right. Maybe they have a really market where prices are still selling for 10% above list price and all these other things. But go into the MLS and see, hey, see all these red arrows? You see all these red arrows? Do you know what that means, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? I don't know what that means. It means the price was reduced on their listing. Now, do you think people reduce prices because there's a lot of buyers? No. Do you think they reduce price because they're getting a lot of offers and they just feel bad and they feel like, you know what, I feel bad for all these people, I should lower my price? No. I want to help.
I feel bad for them. I
feel bad for them. Home price, they're right. Home prices are too expensive.
They're
I'm going to
too
lower
high.
my price.
Rochelle should
Yeah,
lower the price.
I'm going to lower my price for them. Do you think that's what they're doing? No. Prices are being lowered because they don't have the offers. So if they don't have offers today, when this house was listed and rates were at 5%, what do you think is going to happen when a house is listed with rates at 6%? They're going to get less offers. So you should show them the stats, show them the red arrows, show them what's going on. Okay. Go to InfoSparks. We did, God, what was the city? I did this with an agent the other day, and it was for the first time in 3 or 4 years, if you looked at InfoSparks, God, I can't remember the city, but it was in our marketplace. For the first time in 4 years, the average home sold below list price. It was the first time in 4 years. And that's not the only market that's happened. Okay. But you just see the trend, 5%, 4%, 3% above list price. And then it started to go down. And last month was the first month in 4 years the average home sold below list price. I would show that to them. People are not bidding up on properties anymore. Do you want to get the most amount of money for your home? Yes. Then we should probably do it today.
Hey, Robert, you know who's suffering the most? Like the 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, fix-it-uppers next to the freeway. Those properties that we're selling now, they are having a hard time.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. You are 100% right. You're 100% right. So you go to those people and say, hey, do you still need to move? Yeah, well, it's not going to get any easier. Not going to get any easier. All right. But this is to put a bow on all of this and see if anyone else has any questions. A lot of this is how we think about it. Okay. A lot of it is our own mindset. It's, oh my gosh, rates are 6%. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No. It's cool. 6%. Let's go. What's the pitch? What's the angle? Okay. So and then we'll wrap up with this. For those of you that have been around, say, Neil for, I don't know, an extended period of time, and rates have gone up and rates have gone down, and there's been pandemics and non-pandemics and all these other different things. You ever notice he always finds the positive angle to everything?
That's his job.
That's his job. Find the positive angle, right? COVID happened. Everyone goes, oh my God, we're going to freak out. Neil goes, oh, this is so cool. We're going to have a virtual office that everyone's going to be together at once.
And here we are 2.5 years later.
Oh, cool. Oh my God. The market shut down. Oh, that's so cool. All the agents quit. Our agents are going to do this. Hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to write this script and we're going to do this script and we're going to do this script. Oh my gosh. Interest rates are this. Call them this. Interest rates are 6%. Oh my gosh. Window of opportunity. Do you
Window
think
of
that,
opportunity.
do you think that the fact that he's been successful for 40 years has anything to do with the fact that he takes every situation and turns it into the positive?
Yep.
He say 50 years, no 40.
50 years. Do you think that being
60
around 50
years.
years and all the success he's had has something to do with that every situation doesn't get him down? He just looks at the angle. What's the positive angle towards it? That's what you have to do right now. This is not doom and gloom. This is not negative. It's what's the angle? What's the pitch? How do I make the most out of this? This is what it is. It's that window of opportunity.
So on to that point, to kind of get everybody understanding what Robert's really trying to say here is that but you also have to have a positive outlook. It's not what happens to you, but in fact, how you react to it. So there were two other times that were kind of similar. One was when the REO market in 2008 took over. And now understand, we're a listing company, a listing organization. And all of a sudden, the only listings were going to REO brokers. And I kept convincing our agents not to be an REO broker because they're really working for the bank, and the bank can turn off the faucet anytime they want. And in fact, they did. And a lot of the agents that were working as listing agents for the bank, you know, they'd have 10, 15, 20, 40, 100 listings in process and coming in, and they were hiring people and doing stuff. Then all of a sudden the bank took the properties and sold them to hedge fund people. Now, all those properties were gone. So that was one issue. So what did we do there is we went and made open house signs, and we printed, I don't know, 1,000 open house signs, something like that, and got a really good price on it, and went to all the brokers that had these properties, but they didn't have enough people to hold them open, and we would hold them open, thereby giving us first shot at our buyers getting accepted on those listings. That was a major turning point in the business for us at Masters and for our agents keeping and making money. The second time came and most of you don't know this, but for the first 20 or 30 days, we were a non-essential business in California. So, which meant that we couldn't work. We couldn't list and sell houses. And we fought very, very hard to become an essential business. But during that time, I was having the agents go out and list and sell properties because we had to make money. And I was taking a risk, figuring that the Department of Real Estate, not the Department of Real Estate, but the California Association of Realtors, who are a bunch of attorneys that said you shouldn't do something. And I said, well, you're independent contractors. You guys don't listen to us anyway. So what the heck? So if I tell you not to do something, you're not going to do it. So you went out and did it anyway. But that was very cool. But the second thing was, if this was going to continue, I had already started setting up with my broker friends across the country, because all of us were telemarketers. That's what we did. That's what we taught. That's how we worked. That's how we made money. And there were a number of states in the union that were essential. And what we were going to do is we were going to get their lists of sellers, so to speak, their expireds, whatever they had. And we were going to go out, set appointments for their people. Their people would take the listing and send us a referral fee. We're not going to make as much money, but we were going to eat. And nobody was doing stuff like that. So anyway, you've got a great team around you. Don't forget that. Shameless plug, Robert, number 4 today.
It's not a plug. It's for real.
Thank you.
That's number 5.
Thank you. Anyone else want to say something nice? We're going for 10. All right. Anyway, Robert, that was an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions on anything we went over today?